We have laid out a variety of options, all right, which are progressive. And at the end of the day, we will pay for every nickel of Medicare for all.
Bernie's Medicare for All plan just took a big hit.
A new report finding it's impossible to fund the health care program just by taxing the rich.
Joining us now to break down the numbers, GenBiz spokesperson David Grasso. Dave, thanks for coming on. Going to bring up just one of the findings here, one of the major points. Tax increases, if we can put it up here on the screen, guys. Tax increases on high earners, corporations, and the financial sector by themselves could not cover much more than 1/3 of the cost of Medicare for All. As people let that sink in, tell us what that means.
You know, the math just doesn't work here. File this under fairy tales. We would have to have a VAT, much like Europeans, a wealth tax. You'd have to raise the payroll tax. Basically, there's not enough taxes in the world to fund this program. Now, I'm not going to sit here and defend today's program. We all know healthcare is a mess. But why don't we figure out how to fund a program that will cover 10% of people? Today's programs cover 90% of people, and most of us benefit from employer-provided insurance. Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? I'm not quite sure why.
Well, this study also found that the federal government would need to cut non-health funding spending by 80% if they didn't want to raise taxes. So say goodbye to the military, say goodbye to Social Security. Nobody is suggesting that, but it does prove how expensive Medicare for All would be. So how will Elizabeth Warren be able to, or Bernie Sanders, be able to defend this if they go up against President Trump in 2020?
It's really hard, and people are starting to notice why Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders won't talk about the math, because it's far too difficult to fund this.
Yeah.
You would have to double the federal budget, plain and simple. Double the size of the federal government. And remember, healthcare is 18% of the U.S. economy.
Yeah.
If we handed that over to the federal government, you're talking about the loss of millions of jobs.
Doubling the federal government. I mean, we can't say that lightly. Doubling the federal government, the budget of the federal government. What do you think? I mean, Bernie says he's not going to talk about it. He just was open. He's like, I don't want to talk about this. What is Warren going to say? Because she said she's got a plan and she's going to release it.
And this is the problem with Warren. Warren's whole plan is, I have a plan, right? That's her whole brand. Right. She's not going to be able to break down the math. In the end, middle-class people will have to pay more. And unfortunately, that's the whole purpose of Medicare for All, is to reduce costs.
Have to pay more.
Everyone across the board has to pay more.
Well, Bernie Sanders also wants to make college free and erase $1.6 trillion of student loan debt. So we have to factor that in as well. David, thank you so much for coming there. Appreciate it.